So for today's Christian story time, I guess, I'm going to tell you a story that I just remembered, and it happened when I was 11 years old. So that is 8 years ago. Wait, so 11 and 18. That's 7 years ago? Yeah, 7 years ago. This happened in 2013 and I still remember it. Not like it was yesterday, but I still remember it. And this just came to me just now. I had no idea what video to film. I almost wasn't going to film, but then this came to me. So why don't I, look a little deeper into it, and I found that there is something that I can learn from it. And yeah, let's just get into the story. So this happened, like I said, when I was 11 years old. I was in year 5 in primary school. It was during science class. We were in the lab, and our teacher had brought this, I don't know what it was. I'm not exactly sure what it was. Some kind of sweet drink, but it's not really a drink. It's more of like a sweet syrup kind of thing, but you can drink it. I'm not sure if that makes sense. But you can put it inside water and it will make it kind of sweet. Like a weird taste, but it's like weird, but it's not like a bad way. Like, okay lah. I don't know how to explain this. It's a bit sweet. I'm not quite sure what that is. I'm really not quite sure. Even at that time also I was like, what? But that time we were learning about the chapter of acid and alkaline, I don't know. Yeah, that chapter, acid and alkali. That is the chapter, because I learned my science in PM last time, so that's what we learned. So we were learning about that, and my teacher brought that to class to kind of like teach us lah. And so some of us, if we wanted to go and taste that syrup thingy, we can go and taste. So I wanted to go. So normal lah, like some of us, not all of us lah. Like some of us lah, we went to taste that syrup thing. And then some of my friends started, not some of them, wait, I think like 1 or 2 that I remember. I remember one, she started to get headache after she minum that thing. Probably some more people, but I remember there's this one specific person, and I don't know why. Oh, it was more than one person. I think, at my table, my friends. And like, I remember feeling so left out because I didn't feel the peningness. So I pretended like I had a headache. I mean, what? I mean, at that time when I was small, I kind of always felt left out of everything. So I kind of wanted to fit in as much as I could. So I pretended like I had a headache also, just because my friends did. So dumb. So anyway, I went home. You guys are like, where is this story going? This is a Christian story time? Yeah, wait. I'll tell you the whole story first. This is weird. So I went home, and then that's when I started to like feel sick. To be honest, I don't know if it's because of that drink. Could be just me randomly feeling sick on that day. But when I went home, I had to lie down and stuff because I felt sick suddenly, like headache and stuff. And then my mother asked me, and then I told her about that drink thing. And I wasn't really trying to blame the teacher for it. I was just trying to just tell my mother. I was just trying to tell her. And maybe it was the drink thing. And then my mother was like, what? Your teacher gave you something? And so I was lying down in the living room there, and then I heard my mother inside the room calling my teacher. I don't know how she got his number. She called my science teacher. And I remember, I don't know, I think I felt in that moment that it was gonna be okay, this wasn't a big deal. But she called him, and I remember she asked me, my mother asked me how many of your friends had that headache? And then guess what I said? I'm so dumb. I don't know why I exaggerated this, but I said almost the whole class. No, that is not true. I don't know why I exaggerated it. It was not the whole class. Maybe most of my table, but not the whole class. Yeah, my mother called the teacher, and basically the next day I went to school very scared because I'm going to meet that teacher. So I went to school, and I didn't sit at my normal place, which is usually at the front of the lab, because at the lab we have different group tables, and we sit in different groups around the big tables, and there's a few of those big tables basically around the lab, I remember. And I didn't sit at the front group table as usual. That's where I usually sat. This time I was so scared because my mother just called the teacher the day before, and then told me, I want to sit right in front of the teacher. So I go and sit in a different table. Or was it? No, I don't. Probably it was a different table, or either that or the same table, but not exactly at the front. Instead, I was sitting at the side where I was further from the teacher, but still on the front table. I can't remember if it was that, or did I sit at a different table. I don't remember. But basically, not in my usual spot, which is like right in the front. So I was so scared, guys. Imagine 11-year-old me. Imagine your mom just called that teacher the day before and then like complained to him about this, and then you are going to his class the next day. You will be scared, right? I was so scared. Can you imagine? I was so scared. I was so scared he's gonna like scold me in front of the whole class or something like that, but he didn't. Basically what happened is he started the class with he spoke in Malay. I'm gonna give you the Malay version first, then I'm gonna translate. He basically said something like, semalam ada pelajar kelas ini buat cerita tentang cikgu. Basically what it means is he said that yesterday a student from this class made a story about me, made up a story about me, and I was like, oh no, he's talking about me. And I tried so hard to act normal. In that moment, I just tried to act as normal as I could. And basically he told us that the mom of one of the students in this class called him and told him about the liquid thing, and basically made up a story. I was so scared, I was so nervous in that moment, and I just, you know, that kind of moment where you just want the ground to just swallow you, like you don't want to be there anymore. Yes, that is me. In that moment, I just didn't want to be there. So I just stood there trying to act normal. He was standing up, I think, like before the class started, but that's when he told us this. And then he told us like, yeah, basically the mom of a student from this class called me yesterday and made up a story about me. And then he asked some of my classmates how did they feel after the syrup thing, and then they said best job, you know. So it proved that I was the only one with a headache, you know. And I mean, it was my fault. I shouldn't exaggerate. I don't know why I said almost the whole class had a headache from it. Anyway, so this teacher, he didn't say my name. He never said that I was the one who did it. I bet until today some of my classmates still don't know. But I did tell some of my like close friends. I think I told one or two or three. Yeah, like close friends, but the rest of the classmates they didn't know. But basically after that teacher told us about that, and then we went back to class after science, and then I remember a friend of mine who didn't know this. I remember she said like, Miss, mak siapa call cikgu teh? She was like, whose mom called teacher? And then I remember me and my friend who knew kind of look at each other like cause she knew it's me. So anyway, yeah, but I mean that teacher never told on me. But I remember I was so scared in that moment. Okay, so basically that's what happened. And then fast forward a few years later, remember when I said the teacher didn't tell on me? There's a reason why I gave you that look. It's because a few years later he did. So like a few years later, 2015, I was 13, Form 1, and I remember I was called to go back to my primary school because I'm already in secondary school now. And then I was asked by my primary school to go back to my primary school for a like forum for the primary 6 for UPSR. Basically, like I think they had a camp, you know, camp motivasi, something like that. And then so some of us, me and some of the ex-students from that primary school, my primary school, we were asked to go back there and like do a forum for them, and then they can ask us questions like tips, UPSR tips, study tips and all of that lah. So we went there to do that. And I remember my teachers made me like, oh, and then that time I had short hair already, and it was good meeting them again. And I imagine meeting them now. I'm so much more different now than I was like 5 years ago. I was like 13 then during this forum thing. Anyway, so yeah, we went to do this forum thing. We basically sat in front of all of the primary 6 people who were once my juniors, and then they like asked us questions like, how do you study for UPSR and all of that. I was so awkward. I was such a different person back then than I am now. I think now I'll have so much fun at the forum, like giving them tips and all of that stuff and talking to them. But that back then I was so awkward, guys. I used to be so awkward in front of people and like so quiet. Not quiet lah, not really quiet, but like I don't know what to say, you know. But if you give me a mic, like in that moment I don't know what to say. So basically, yeah, we had to like give them advice and like just talk to them about stuff and like don't stress about UPSR and all this stuff. So, and then my teacher, my science teacher, was there. That science, the same science teacher who teach me science in primary 5, primary 6, and primary 4 actually. And that same science teacher is the one who, the thing I just told you about. The same one who kept that secret and never told anyone that it was my mom who called him. He suddenly at that forum told the whole story. He told the story, guys. I was in a panic in that moment. I was like, oh, he legit told them. It is like 2013, 14. It's 2 years later. 2 years after it happened, he told them. And I mean, all of my teachers also were there. Everyone heard it, And he basically said, like, he told them last time her mother called me because she complained she got headache. And then I was like, oh no, that story is coming out. But then he didn't mean it in a bad way. And this is what we're getting to in this story. He said that it's actually proof that I was listening in class to the point where I can go home and tell my mom what I learned. Because I did tell her, like, we were doing this because we were learning the chapter of acid and alkali. I did tell her that. He remembered that. He remembered this. And he told them, like, see, she learned things in class and then she, to the point where she can go home and tell her mom about it. And that he told this story not to like expose me, but to tell them what they should do, to tell the students like, hey, don't just learn stuff in school, go home and like do something about it, tell someone, something like that. So that's what I get from this story. I was thinking about it just now. This suddenly came to my head, and it is actually so true when it comes to the Christian life, because this is a Christian channel. And I mean, how many times have you should see the way I'm sitting, I'm so comfortable right now. How many times have you like went to church, you went to your, I don't know, Bible study or whatever, and you learn stuff, and then that's it? You memorize Bible verses and then that's it, How many times have you done that? Like, you just go there and you get it inside your head and then you go home. That was my mother. Okay, so yeah, how many times have you like gone to whatever it is, any Christian thing, and then you learn it and then it just goes into your head and then that is it? You don't teach that to anyone else, you don't tell anyone, not even the Bible verse that you learn. And this is what I got from this. Like, I do that also. I've been doing that for years. Like, I just go and do whatever it is. Like, I remember in Girls Brigade, we used to have this thing, we memorize Bible verses and then that's it. Like, I never, you get what I mean? This doesn't just apply to like studies, this also applies to like Christianity, like the things we learn in church and all of that. It just stays there. Like, we go to church and we learn it in church and then it stays in church and then that's it. We go home and we forget about it. We don't tell anyone about it. We don't write down anything about it. That's it. And the gospel is meant to be shared, and the things that you learn, you're supposed to share it. You're supposed to tell people about it, even if it's just like, that's why now I try my best to, like, I remember that day I found a verse. It was Ecclesiastes, and it was from a YouTube video by Off the Kirb Ministries, and I thought that verse was so good and it just impacted me. And then like I gave it to my friend. When I wished him happy birthday actually, and I included that verse inside the message because I thought it was such a good verse and it was so impactful, so I sent that to him. So I'm trying to do that now. Anything you learn, if it impacts you, try to make it impact others, give it to others, Like, that's why with this channel also, anything that God is showing me, I'm really trying to share it, because I don't want to learn it and then just stay there, It's good that you're reading the Bible, it's good that you're doing all of these things, but at the end of the day, if it's not going anywhere, and besides, like, when you tell people about it, or even like on a video like this is not even a real person in front of me right now, but I know that there's a person on the other side of the screen, but basically I'm talking to a camera right now. And even if it's just a video like this, it really actually encourages you to learn even more, because you want to share even more. The more I post on this channel, I post almost every single day. I've only missed 2 days. I remember I've only missed 2 days throughout the life of this channel so far. I've only missed 2 days of uploading, the rest of it I've uploaded every single day. And that actually, like, the more I upload, the more I tell you things, the more I share with you about what God shows me in my life, it actually encourages me even more. So you know, it's an effect. Like when you tell people what you learn, you want to learn even more, and you want to share even more. You want to feed yourself more, you know, so that you can feed other people. And that's why don't just learn and just let it stay there. You know, make sure after you learn, it goes somewhere. And just try your best to like tell someone what you learn, or if there's something particularly interesting about the sermon today, maybe you can tell that. You know, just little things like that. Even things about what I'm learning about in my life, I tell it to you. You know, it's just stuff like this, because it really does encourage you, and also it encourages that person. You know, it encourages that person to see that you are so eager to share what God has done in your life, or what has God shown you. You're so eager to show it, and it will share, and then it will also encourage them to learn more, and also encourage them to share, you know. And also, like, it's an effect. Like, even like I said just now, I found a Bible verse from a video by Off the Kirb Ministries, a Christian channel. And you know, probably he found that verse. I mean, there's a whole story about how he found it, and he mentioned it in the video, but I forgot. And I will put the video down below, by the way. And basically, like, he found that verse, and then he decided to put it in the video, right? He decided to share it with the world, and then I watched that video, and then wow, it impacted me. Now I want to share it, and then I shared it to my friend for his birthday. And you know, it's an effect. So don't just keep it to yourself. You never know that anything you share to people can actually encourage them to share, and actually can go a long way. Or even like you share something with them, and then it encourages them to share something of their own, you know, or continue what you shared. You know, it can go a long way. You know, like I remember last time my Sunday school teachers, like, they used to tell stories. I remember a few stories, like spiritual stories. My Sunday school teachers used to tell us, and then I remember, especially this one story. I remember I came back home and I told my mother, because it was so amazing to me. So yeah, that is one example. Like, just share. You never know. Like, the story or whatever it is that God shown you, it can go a long way. Don't think that it's not worth sharing. Everything God shows you is worth sharing. So just share it, and don't just let it stay there. You know, you're supposed to like bless others with what God has blessed you, just the same way like God loves you, and you're supposed to love others. Same thing, you know. So yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this Christian story time. I enjoyed talking about it. It's a good memory to look back on, even though in that moment, like I said, I wanted to disappear. And this wasn't just like in that moment, okay? It was like probably for the months leading after that. Just being nervous every time I have to go to science class. It was horrible. Can you imagine being an 11-year-old and knowing that you have to stick with the teacher, you know? So, and you feel like he's mad at you. He probably wasn't, but you know, you just feel like that, and you just feel so scared every time you have to go to his class. Just imagine that. But anyway, a bad thing turned out to be a good thing, you know. A bad experience turned out to, hey, actually, you know, I learned some stuff from it. So that's what I'm sharing with you today. And I'm sorry if my voice is very soft in this video, because it is nighttime and I can't really talk that loud, but I kind of like it. I like this chill vibe, just me telling you a story. So anyway, yeah, God bless your day, your week, your month, your year, your life. God bless you and your families, and don't forget, Jesus loves you very much. One last thing,